Burnout in relationships. Why do feelings for a person disappear? In this video, we'll talk about why feelings can disappear, even if only temporarily. And then you might hear a phrase like, I left and now I regret it. I don't know what came over me. There was a good person next to me. Why did I act that way? So, burnout can happen to absolutely anyone. Burnout can be related to work, relationships, and so on. That is, a person experiencing burnout starts to forget and undervalue what they have. That is, at some point, everything seems insufficient and bad to him, as if other people have everything better, more beautiful, they live more successfully and wealthier, their wives are better, or their husbands are better, and so on. Now, let's talk about how to recognize that you have caught that burnout, and then discuss what to do about it. So first, why do I need this, and what do I get out of it? Here, a woman is experiencing burnout. She feels empty and starts to ask herself a question. There is a man next to her, and she thinks, why do I need him? What am I getting from him that makes it worth continuing to build these relationships? So she is currently overwhelmed by a wave of negativity, and at this moment she thinks that everything is because of the person next to her. And what could it be? There are three possible outcomes here, and it all depends on the person next to you. So if a person has a healthy psyche and maintains personal boundaries, they will not, for example, adapt to new whims of the woman or her complaints. Instead, they will simply wait it out and not allow their boundaries to be violated, and everything will settle down over time. But if this person, for example, has an anxious type of attachment, it will start to please at that moment. They will start to earn love more. And what happens next? Then more and more demands appear. More and more dissatisfaction with love continues until, at some point, such relationships fall apart. And another type of attachment is anxious avoidance. This is where aggression starts to appear. That is, you start to show aggression because something begins to dissatisfy you. And at some point, it seems to you that now, for example, it will come to physical violence and so on. That is, something complicated might be happening, or your man is reacting with aggression to some of your complaints. Here again, it is necessary to understand the type of attachment in your relationships. What is happening in your relationships right now, whether there is any aggression, whether there is a need to earn love. For example, if the man is maintaining those personal boundaries, that is something to consider. But it is better not to make any decisions in such a situation. If you are asking yourself such questions, it is quite possible that the problem is with you right now, that you are feeling empty, you are not feeling well, and you are trying to compensate for your internal problems at the expense of another person. Moving on, pulling the blanket over to oneself. And at this moment, desire to distance oneself, to move away from the partner, begins to occur. He stops being interesting, and his affairs, what happens at his work, and how his day would no longer interest him. So everything that used to be interesting is no longer interesting now. Why can this happen? In reality, couples in relationships develop, and from the moment of growth and development, this can happen when a person steps up to a new level. And at this moment, the person is actually struggling internally, wanting to retreat into themselves and distance themselves. If the partner is understanding and allows you to experience your feelings, then everything happens easily. But if at moment when one partner wants to distance themselves and the other tries to start clarifying the relationship, begins to pressure, starts violating personal boundaries, that is, doing something to abruptly return everything to how it was, then these attempts can backfire. What could be happening here? How does this desire to distance oneself occur? Refusal of certain requests, unwillingness to spend time together, lack of interest in each other. If you notice something similar in yourself or your partner, just give it time, allow the person to be with themselves, give them the opportunity to distance themselves. Next, loss of interest. You might not ask any questions at all. Show no interest at all. In the moment, it may seem to you that a man, for example, if he has caught burnout, lives like a neighbor with you, or you don't understand what this person is doing next to you. And again, it's just a stage of burnout. And if you start to sort out relationships here, if you start to argue and try to prove something, then the one who is experiencing burnout may agree to any outcome. That is, at the moment when a person has restored their mental strength, they would look at the relationship completely differently. But when a person is drained, burned out inside, and there are still quarrels, conflicts, and some disputes, they might even agree to let everything fall apart. Here again, the most important thing is to understand what is happening with you, and if this is happening with your partner, give them the opportunity to go through this stage in life, which may include a feeling of disappointment. For example, if you feel that you have burnout, you might feel frustrated. It seems to you that everyone around you is doing better. Better husbands, better salaries, better jobs, children, upbringing, and so on. In other words, you have the feeling that your life is not what it should be, and everything is wrong. And if you realize that you recognize yourself in these moments, give yourself the opportunity to live through this stage. This stage will help you move to another level. In the moment of burnout, you shouldn't ruin relationships or make decisions that you might later regret and say, I left, and now we regret it. Give yourself time. And now we will currently talk about how to get out of this state in order to. And the first thing is light physical activity. This is what needs to be done. It is necessary to relieve the psyche. When we exercise, it is important not to push ourselves too hard in the gym to the point of feeling even more miserable, but the activity should be light. Or choose a place that brings you pleasure, for example, for a light jog in the mornings. New physical exercises will relieve your psyche and reduce the level of stress in your body, and you will start to feel significantly better. This can include walking. Give yourself the opportunity to be in the state and the chance to experience it in a way that is healthy for you, and help yourself through these difficult emotions. So, light physical activity will give you the opportunity to shed this negativity. Next, reducing stress. Think about how much stress is currently present in your life. Perhaps you haven't had a vacation in a long time. Perhaps you have taken on too much at work and are, for example, doing someone else's job, and you end up blaming your partner at home. So, it seems to you that he is bad. It's not my fault that I took on too much and now I am drained, but it's his fault that I feel so bad. So figure out if you have taken on too much. If you realize that you have, try to lighten your load. For example, set personal boundaries at work and only do your own tasks. If you haven't been on vacation for a long time, go on vacation and visit the places you've long wanted to see. Give yourself the opportunity to breathe out and recharge. A person who experiences burnout is someone who has long ignored the needs of their soul and body, and now, in this way, they are paying the price. In other words, a vessel that hasn't been refilled or replenished for a long time is empty. And now, nothing can be poured from this empty vessel. It needs to be refilled to improve relationships and to improve feelings, and your inner feelings, and the feelings of inner happiness, and some kind of harmony. It is necessary to restore your mental strength, and if you are experiencing burnout, it means that you have already exhausted your entire reserve of internal strength. Now is the time to recharge, and now is the right time to do something good for yourself, something wonderful, to do something that will fill you up right now. Next, reassess your approach to relationships. When you start dealing with yourself, when you begin to view why things are happening in your life the way they are, you might realize that, for example, you are demanding too much from your partner and actually not doing something for yourself, and you had high expectations of your partner. Truly happy relationships are those between two mature individuals, specifically internally mature, who understand and know their personal boundaries and understand what they want. Where there are two whole individuals, where there is a violation of personal boundaries. There are also abusive relationships, disappointments, and so on. Therefore, analyze your relationships, think about what you might be doing wrong in them, and consider why you might not be receiving what you would like to receive in these relationships. If you want to change the world, start with yourself. Therefore, it's not worth destroying what may have taken years to build. Think about what you can do for your relationships to take them to another level, a qualitatively new level, the level you would like to achieve in your life. Start giving, but from a state of already being full, when you feel that it becomes easier for you, and start giving what you would like to receive, without forcing the man, without manipulating, without saying that you are bad. And that's why I feel bad. That's why I have burnout. Instead, try to take responsibility for yourself, for your life, for your feelings and emotions, and invest in the relationship what you would like to receive from it. That's all for this video. This was Elisa Vardomskaya with you. I hope for your likes and subscriptions. Write in the comments what you would like to discuss in my new videos. Don't forget to hit the bell, and goodbye everyone.